Welcome back. So the case against 6 people, including 5 Mexicans arrested for allegedly operating a multi-million rand drug lab in Mpumalanga has been postponed to Friday. This is to allow the court time to acquire the services of a translator. The suspects appeared in the Volksrust Magistrates Court this morning. The group was arrested following a raid, marking the 3rd such bust in the province in recent months. Investigations are ongoing. Well, for more on this, we are joined by spokesperson for Mpumalanga Community Safety's MEC. We're joined, of course, by the spokesperson, Mr. Moeti, Mmusi. Mr. Mmusi, a good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us. I mean, this is quite a find, really, that you've come across here in Mpumalanga. Perhaps let's start from the very beginning in the briefings that you've got from law enforcement, how they were able to come across this drug bust, and how significantly important this is for your own department.
Thank you very much, Naledi, and a very good evening to your viewers at home. The MEC was briefed Friday evening about this drug bust that happened in one of the farms around Volksrust. Some time ago, the Premier of Mpumalanga, Mr. Mandlandlovu, led an executive council outreach program in the area. Now, with that, you'd have stakeholder engagements whereby various MECs are expected to engage with their stakeholders. This includes community, of course. In our case, most of the residents in the Pixlika-Isakasime local municipality where Volksrust is, they complained about the proliferation of drugs, with some suggesting that there could be a place where these drugs are manufactured. So our intelligence, the intelligence operations of the security cluster immediately went undercover to try and investigate what could be happening. Fortunately, there was a tip-off that suggested that there could be a lab somewhere where these drugs are reportedly being manufactured. And then on Friday, indeed, there was a lab that was uncovered whereby there were some suggestion that there were some substances that suggest that there could be crystal meth in the area. And then there was an equipment that was also seized by the police and some chemicals that have since been sent for the lab to determine if indeed this is crystal meth. But then on Friday, on the very same Friday, 5 people were arrested, as it has been widely reported. 5 of these people are Mexicans. They have since came here in January. Unfortunately, it is reported that they never went back. So it means they are in violation of the law. And one South African, we say, reportedly a farm caretaker, was also arrested. Then there are other 2 foreign nationals who are on the run. They include 1 Nigerian as well as 1 person from Malawi. So the MEC has welcomed this move. And then we all know that the importance of the drug dealers or peddlers being brought into book due to the devastating consequences that this often leave on the communities, particularly the young people who are often targeted by these selfish individuals whose intentions are nothing else but to make money at whatever cost. It doesn't matter the impact that these are leaving on our communities, especially the young people in our province and the country as a whole.
Yeah, and perhaps maybe that's where we should go next, right? Just the problem of drug abuse in the surrounding areas. And just as you continue to get briefs from law enforcement, if there is where you have picked up just how some of these drugs are moving from that laboratory, where they're being fed into those areas?
Well, it's a matter that the security cluster or the law enforcement agencies are looking at, because there was we at this stage we are unable to determine whether these things were partially processed elsewhere before being brought there, and what is the network insofar as the distributions are concerned. But all that you have picked up so far during those stakeholder engagements with the communities is that there is indeed a proliferation of drugs, particularly in the Volksrust local municipality, where we were some few weeks ago with this Executive Council outreach program. So the communities have complained widely. It's not only the province-wide. we have received numerous complaints every time the MEC conduct an imbizo whereby the communities are complaining about drugs. Just last week, there was a TLP whereby some communities in and around Akonuk and Bushbuck Ridge also complained about the proliferation of drugs and how that was impacting on some of the efforts to combat crime in the area. Remember, when people uses drugs, some of them they become violent. More often than not, they become very abusive. The same way the abuse of alcohol would impact on individuals. Drugs are even worse because people become addicted to it. Others would go to a point of stealing, breaking into people's houses so that they can get money after selling stolen items in order to feed on this very negative addict of using drugs.
Yeah, there's something to be said about the role that is played by communities in actually being able to lead to these drug busts, and perhaps you have a few stories there, and even with the 2 individuals that you say are on the run, what you still need as investigations continue.
The communities, the MEC has urged the communities, he has encouraging them to continue collaborating with the police in order to ensure that whenever they see suspicious individuals or activities, to report such anonymously to the police through my SEPS app, which is found on any smartphones, and they should also do that through the Crime Stop hotline 086 0010 111. So they need to report anonymously so that the police are then able to investigate and ensure that the perpetrators are brought to book.
Yeah. Mr. Moeti, Mmusi, an absolute pleasure speaking to you, and thank you so much for your time. Of course, he is spokesperson for the MEC of Community Safety in Mpumalanga.